Have you ever set big goals for yourself and out of nowhere you quit? Or maybe you even push away good opportunities because maybe you don't feel like you're good enough for that opportunity. The thing is, you're not broken. You're just stuck in this self-sabotage loop. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to break free from that loop. If you're watching this video, then you probably want to stop getting in your own way and break free from this self-sabotage loop. And knowing that when you're so close to your breakthrough, you hit the pedals and you stop. So in this video, we're going to understand why we self-sabotage and how we can stop from doing it. So here are 3 main reasons why we do self-sabotage. For the first reason, it can be the fear of success. And this is something I've literally experienced countless of times. Even before I actually continued on YouTube, there was this mindset within myself that was fearing of just succeeding in life. And as crazy as it sounds, it's that part of me that wants to be successful, but the other part of me that's hindering me, that's putting that pedal on the stop, or hitting the brakes and not wanting to move forward. Part of that reason is because it's the fearing of the unknown. It's the fear of the unexpected and not knowing what to expect, especially the responsibilities you might have to handle in the future. And I was definitely there for just wanting to do what I'm doing now. And I would think of so much future events that obviously wasn't happening in that present moment. And because of that, I was stopping myself from my own success of growing as a potential growth to become a YouTuber, to inspire millions of people and eventually in the future. So when we fear success, when we fear outshining others, and just not wanting to take that leap of faith, we stay in our comfort zone and the familiar. And by doing that, we are literally destroying ourselves. Think of it like a stock market where you're going up and you go right back down. When you're so close to that breakthrough, you stop yourself because of that expectation. And number 2 is the imposter syndrome. And it's you achieving something, even if it's something small, a simple goal that you say you're going to do, even if you're being consistent. But instead of celebrating yourself, you start to beat yourself up a little bit. You start thinking that you might be fake. This is not really the real you. And part of that can be because of the identity that you've held on to, and the belief system that you don't deserve it because of that identity that you're still stuck in. And so think of it 2 versions of yourself, and you're in that middle, and you achieve that slow growth that you set out probably maybe like a long time ago. But because you believe you don't deserve it, you go right back closer to where you began. And because you start to think that certain way, and you identify of not deserving what that thing is, even if you had small progress, you start proving yourself right, even when you're wrong. And your mind starts finding different things to show why you're correct, for why you don't deserve it, even if it's not true. And I literally have the same feeling every time I make small achievements when I go to the gym workout, or even when I try to fix my diet. And something for me is I want to eat cleaner so I can actually have a better physique, especially on my fitness journey, because right now I'm embarking on to being a healthy version of myself, or being more fit. Number 3 is old conditioning. If you grew up younger being criticized or even punished for trying something new, your mind taking risk for pain. And because of that, it almost basically hijacks itself, where you try something new, but you believe that it won't even benefit you. It might even be painful to do so. And because it's painful, it's easier just to stay in the familiar. So because you believe that the pain is stronger than the actual reward, your mind hijacks you and keeps you stuck in the same, and it pulls you away from something that you deem as a threat, when in reality it's nothing bad at all. And it's because of that belief system that you have in place, from the old conditioning, from the self-criticism and the criticism from others, that keeps you in the familiar, that keeps you not wanting to try something new, because you're scared of taking that next step of the action, because of the belief that it might hurt you in the process, and you don't want to feel that pain again that you felt in the past. So how can we spot and how can we identify self-sabotage, especially when we're inflicting it ourselves, to not actually keep doing the same thing? Now, we all know procrastination is something that we all do. And if you procrastinate, especially in self-sabotage, that doesn't mean you're lazy. It means that you're possibly scared of failing and failing yourself. And when we procrastinate, it's because we have this expectation of something happening when it might not even happen. Or maybe because we're fearful of taking the next step. In my YouTube journey, sometimes I think to myself, what if I become very big, very popular, like very high in subscribers and views? Sometimes my mind believes I can't handle that. And sometimes I pull away or even have a different belief system that if I become big or popular or even succeed, then I can't handle all the tasks at hand, keeping up with YouTube or anything like that, especially currently working a 9-to-5 job. And it gets to me pretty hard. So sometimes I procrastinate. But I catch myself in that moment knowing that I'm doing that. I note down what I'm doing and I move forward and take that leap of faith, take that action. Another form of self-sabotage we can spot is perfectionism. And for perfectionism, it's setting impossible standards for something that we want to be perfect before we can actually put it out there. And sometimes you can't just do that. Sometimes you just have to put it out there. Nothing's going to be perfect. Like, think of me recording this YouTube video right now. I could just find any way to make the best editing, the best music, the best camera angles, and I could spend so much time doing it. But sometimes you just need to put the message out there. And it's not always about the best edits. What's important is for people to understand why I'm doing it. And trying to perfect it might even hinder me from just putting myself out there, especially making this video. So if you are someone who is a perfectionist or someone who wants to make something that's always perfect, sometimes you can't just be perfect. You have to just put it out there, whether it's that writing blog that you wanted to make, or that video, or that music. Now, I'm not saying put work into it, but I'm also saying not to be perfect where you're just working on it and always working on it and never actually showing anyone or releasing it. And for the last thing that we can identify, negative self-talk. Now, there's so much people out there right now who literally have so much negative self-talk, whether they are pursuing a new goal, whether they think themselves as not good enough. And a lot of this can be deemed for a lack of self-worth, believing that you're not good enough for something, whether it can be that relationship, that job, or for your family. And this harsh criticism that you have toward yourself is just your ego, or even like that belief system that you have been told from the past, which is not true. And don't believe what the ego is trying to feed you. Don't believe what people are telling you that you believe to be true when it's not. The thing is, you are always good enough, and you were born good enough. And you don't need this external validation to tell you otherwise. And if you are having so much negative self-talk, or even just thinking of having a negative self-harm toward yourself, I do highly encourage you to seek someone or a professional or advisor or counselor to help you with this at the current moment. I'm not sponsored by anyone, but I do recommend it. Or even journaling. That's something whenever I am in a not so great mood or I have a lot of negative doubts, I journal it down. So next time I read it, I can see what I was thinking that exact time and the exact date, before I can correct myself and ask myself, why was I thinking that and what made me think that in the first place? Now, how can we fix self-sabotage? How can we improve ourselves to not always go back into the old? And the first thing I want to say is you need to have awareness of what you're doing first. I've said this in my previous videos, that awareness is key. So you need to be aware of what you're doing. Jot down on a journal or a notepad of the things that you're doing, or even just on a Google document. So on that journal, jot down what you wanted to do and what you did instead, and what you felt before you did that action. Because if you're aware of why you did in the first place, of what you felt, then you're getting closer and closer to the actual reason. And what I have even learned from a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear about breaking old habits is something which helped me along the way, is you have to first make a habit obvious, be aware of it, and then you have to make the habit invisible and make the desired habit attractive. And what I'm getting at is you have to get rid of that habit or thing you're doing when you're self-sabotaging or before you self-sabotage, become aware of it, and find a replacement to make something more desirable. For the second thing, is to change your thoughts, change your mindset. Before you actually do something, before you self-sabotage, before you find that emotional cue, or before you get that trigger in your mind for anything, ask yourself, why am I able to do this? Or if you have negative self-talk, ask yourself, is this true? And most of the time, you might find that the answer isn't true when you're thinking of something negative, or even if you're about to do another bad habit or self-sabotage, whether it's watching porn or eating a bunch of junk food that you know you shouldn't be eating, or eating a bunch of sugar, or binge watching Netflix, or just doing something that you know you shouldn't be doing. Especially for the negative self-talk, for your words, instead of saying, I don't deserve this, say, I'm worthy of a lot of things. And by doing that, right, switching the words, you're changing your worthiness, you're changing that belief system about yourself. And sometimes it can be hard because there's times where you might fuck up, you might fail on something, and you might start thinking that you're not good enough about something, which has happened to me in the past many times. But you can change for, I messed up again, I did it again, change, I messed up right now, but I've did so much good work along the way on the progress that I'm making. I also want to say small, consistent action for the last thing is what will help you grow from self-sabotage. And if you catch yourself going back into another self-sabotaging habit, then instead of beating yourself up, work on another goal that you set yourself up for in one area in your life, and go for that for at least 10 minutes or more. So just know that self-sabotage isn't that you're lazy. It doesn't mean you're not worthy of anything. It just simply means that you need to have a change of mindset, even a change of your habits. I do recommend reading the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. That's something that definitely did help me along the way. But just changing your mindset, shifting your mindset, and then changing your habits by making small action every day and small consistent effort every day definitely improve you on the long run. So if this video did help you, or if this video did give you some insight, let me know in the comments what kind of thing you've been going through lately, and write down what you might change about it this week. Thank you for watching.